Thank you, Mona. And from Cairo, we are joined by Al-Ahram newspaper managing editor, Mr. Ashraf Al-Ashri. Welcome, sir, and thank you for joining us today. Let me start off to ask you, what are the strategic or political objectives behind Israel's renewed forced displacement orders and destruction of the civilian infrastructure in Gaza City?
For sure, these targets are far-right Israeli to expel and displace Palestinians from all Palestinian territories, as in happened in 48. In order to completely evacuate Gaza, in order to turn it to a touristic city with the auspices of U.S. And this happens gradually, or takes place gradually in West Bank. We find killing, attacks of camps, and also widening the Israeli settlements, which has reached 9,000 settlements. This is their goals with the Benjamin Netanyahu and Ben Ghafir to establish their Jewish state, which is well known. And Egypt is launching a campaign to prevent all of these attempts of displacements and eliminate Palestinian guys and Palestinians. Egypt will remain a wall, long-standing wall against any attempt of evacuating Palestinians.
Mr. Ashraf, how does the continued bombing of shelters and civilian sites affect Israel's international standing, do you think, particularly in relation to the international humanitarian law and war crimes accountability?
Israel breached all international laws and humanitarian law and torn every agreement since the 40s with the U.S. Israel conducted criminal wars and criminal that is nothing less than what took place on Second World War. Israel has become neglected by the international community and also starting to lose its friends in European community. And also all of these atrocities are in place, are perpetrated by the U.S. cover. Trump gave the green light to kill and commit genocide, to weaponize starvation in order to force Palestinians to be displaced in order.
Sir, what do you think is the role, what role does the internal public pressure, maybe like protests by families of the Israeli detainees, maybe in shaping Netanyahu's decisions on ceasefire or detainee negotiations?
The protests from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and went to Netanyahu's house and besieging his house is a kind of positive stance with strength in the street, but these protests doesn't have the power that can curb Netanyahu of what he's doing in his far right, because 70% are supporting the far right, and all of these protests have a role, but not as impactful as wanted. The far right exceeds in Israel in order to and they want to fulfill their role and their plan to invade Gaza. Unless we are hearing the proposals of Trump recently, it may entails ending the war with one comprehensive goal, as everyone expecting.
Sir, can you share with us a little bit what do you think are the long-term psychological and societal impacts of the mass child casualties and the displacement on the Gazan population?
I think in regards to Gaza Strip, many have talked about from the UN and international organizations that is behind imagination from weaponizing starvation, fear, atrocities in the souls of women, children, and elderly. Practices are very close to what took place in Second World Wars. Therefore, the death toll wounded is the death toll is a surge to more than 64 million thousand. UNRWA international community used all condemnation terms to condemn what's going on against civilians, children, and women, in order and called for any kind of lives for them. But the psychological, societal living conditions are behind imagination and needs tons of years to resolve this impact.